All right, so we are back in action. I know I've been going for a little while, been about 4 months, but the reality of it is I wasn't consistent with my trading for the last month, and prior to that, I was just not consistent in general. Like I blew up my MYFF future account and haven't bought an account with them since. Still trade with Apex a bit, and I started paying take profit. And I just didn't document those accounts at all. But now we're gonna get started back up. We got a 40% sale discount going with not MYFF futures, going with take profit traders. And this platform I actually like a bit better than MYFF futures for the simple fact that you can get a payout same day once you're funded. If you come down here to take profit, they have a rule of 5 days that you have to trade minimum to get funded, which I actually like this rule. Apex had a rule similar where it's like 7 days to get funded. You have to trade a minimum amount. Now they have the 1 day to pass, like a lot of the other platforms. But what I found that it did for me is enabled me to gamble more. I think a lot of these platforms turn a lot of traders into gamblers, and once you're in that loop, it's kind of hard to get out of it. And but forcing you to trade a minimum of 5 days, it forces you to break down your profit goals. You don't have to make some amount of money in one shot, especially for the fact that they have a consistency rule here. Let's go down to it. Where's that? Yes, here we go. They have a consistency rule right here where you can't make more than 50% of your profits in one given day. So say for instance you got this 50K account, right, which is this one right here. You have to make $3,000 in order for you to pass the account. You have $2,000 end of day trailing drawdown, which is also great. It's better than intraday, which is it trails you throughout the session. So you're up $100, the stop goes up $100. If you go down 50, it goes, well, it don't go down 50, it stays where it's at. But end of the day, you go up, down 100, down 300, 400. By the time the end of the day hits, that's when they recalculate where your stop is actually at. So you don't get penalized for holding trades, whereas intraday you do get penalized for holding trades, especially if you size up too much. But yeah, with the consistency rule, since you can't make more than 50%, you are capped in how much you can make in a given day with the account. So what I found is like divide whatever amount it is by 30 days or whatever time frame it gives you to pass the account, and make that your target goal. So with the $300,000 account, I don't aim to make more $1,500 a day, because if you do make over that 50%, they just push your target further out, so you have to make more money in the account. So I kind of like this because it kind of makes you not rush. Granted, I did have times where I did rush and had hiccups and blew up a few accounts with them, but ultimately I do like this model better. So we will be trading with them for this challenge. I actually went ahead and purchased 3 accounts with them with their 40% discount going on. They actually are $102 for the 50K account, and I got 3 of those. I spent about $310, something like that. And we got the NinjaTrader Tradeovate Trading View, so the CQG option or the Rhythmic, just in case I want to get back into Apex and skill up with them. I'll have the option still. So with Take Profit Trader, you can get paid out day 1. You have an 80-20 split, which is also nice. But not the 80-20, but the fact that's day 1 payout. You address it, like I said, you have a max of 5 trading days in order for you to pass your account. Once you get passed, you get funded that same exact day, you can pull out some money. Assume you're above the threshold. If you're not above the threshold, you're cooked. You can't do it. There's no day loss rule. There is no buffer requirement. I mean, there's the buffer requirement for the Pro account. We got Pro Plus. There is no buffer requirement. This is a new rule actually added for the Pro Plus. Once you get into that Pro Plus account, you don't have to worry about the end of day trailing drawdown, whereas the intraday trailing drawdown is in effect for the Pro account, but not the test and not the Pro Plus. So a lot of traders do get messed up when you get to the Pro account, which essentially the funded stage, because they didn't initially have this. They threw this at you when you get into the account, when you get into the funded account. But granted, they tell you this, they send an email about it and all that, but if you're used to trading with the end of day trailing drawdown, this can mess you up. It has messed me up. Granted, I have a lot of experience with Apex, so I wasn't too thrown off by this. I still just have the same issues I had with Apex just over here now, so this wasn't brand new to me. They have their commissions, whatnot, cool. And yeah, so this is the prop we're trading with, and they have been good. I actually have gotten a payout, I guess, by them. I just pulled out $27 above the buffer before I blew it up. I didn't withdraw into my bank account, so it was actually sitting in my wallet still. And they did have a rule where if you don't take out at least $250, they charge you. So think it's like $50, but I'm not gonna pull out $27 to not get it. It just makes no sense. So I just left it alone. But that is the prop account that we're going with. So that's Take Profit Traders, and that's who we rocking with right now. And yeah, this trade right here, it was the first trade of the day. This trade took forever. When I say forever, I waited like a whole hour and a half. I sat at my computer around 8:30. This trade didn't really pop off until like 10, I think, or 10:30. I remember being an hour and a half. I might be wrong with the time frame that I sat at the computer, but it was like an hour and a half. I sat waiting for this trade, market going up, down, up, down. And the idea here was I wanted the market to push up off this area. And currently the market's trading around all-time highs. So I figured the market could get up there and get some good support off the area we're looking at right now. But yeah, this trade was, again, I was kind of very impressed with my patience. I've really been trying to fine tune and work my strategy so it's less trades I'm taking day by day. Not just less trades, but also less overall time at the charts needed. And I was waiting right here for the market to get up to that area. That's why we kind of fast forward past that point. But the market got up to that point. In theory, not in theory, but what I wanted to see happen was get a closure above that blue area right there, which is like a lower time frame area that I have that you're not going to really be able to see from the 15-minute time frame. But yeah, the market ultimately ended up reversing back, and like you're going to see in a second, pushed on down some. So I want myself to break even to ensure that I didn't take any losses at this point, because we saw a good profit, but because the market did what I want to do, we got stopped out. So when it comes to this trade right here, this is the second trade of the day. Now I was a bit conflicted at this point. I already was just coming for the loss that I took. I thought that area was going to hold to be a good area of support. When it closed below the low, it closed below, which is that current low. You can't really see because the area have boxed up, but there's a purple line there, which is the previous day's low. And because it closed below there, I had an idea to go short. We see the momentum is to the downside currently on lower time frames. We break the structure to the downside. So I had enough indication for me to go short. But now I'm still committed to going long because I know the market's around the all-time highs that I created on Friday. And I figured the market wanted to keep pushing on up higher to make more all-time highs. So I was more so focused on that, and I was then being a little stubborn. So we took a long here rather than the original plan we had, which was to go short. We did make sure our risk management was good. We made sure we didn't over leverage, and that was the main focus when it came here. Now you're gonna see in a second the market is gonna come up, which it did. I think came a little bit more. Even regardless, man, we got stopped out here, and it kind of sucked because I was kind of looking for the win, of course, but to know that I was right for my first analysis was to go short instead of long kind of pissed me off a bit. I'll be honest there. I'll be honest with that. All right, when it comes to this trade right here, after that second trade where I knew I wanted to go short initially, but I went long due to the fact that I was being a little stubborn with my bias instead of accepting what is actually going on in the market in real time. We finally went short, and I was having a little issue in terms of trying to find an area. I wanted that market to pull back again to the previous low, which is that purple line up there, which it didn't do. There's an area slightly below. Actually, where my stop is to get me out of the trade was my original entry target that I wanted to get in at, but the market didn't pull back that far, kept going. So we ended up getting an entry off the 1 minute where it pulled back into, and then we got in. We were targeting down to the daily low of another day's previous low, which is right around that yellow gold looking line. And the market had a few areas it had to get through that zone that had boxed up right there by the R2 or R3 pivot. Let me see. The S2 pivot. My apologies. The market had to get below that and keep going. And I figured the market actually do this and get down there. It was just a matter of how and when. So I was pretty optimistic, and because take profit, you can't make more than 50% of your total profits in a day. I was actually trying to target the exact 50% amount, which is 15,000. I figured the more money I can make in a trading day, the better off I'll be in the future, because I don't want to feel the pressure, which I was feeling throughout this week. That I really acknowledged through my journaling of I didn't want to blow up these accounts, but I also didn't want to take my time and not be aggressive with passing them. and have the account drag out longer than it needs to be, just because I'm trying to be risk averse to ensure my safety of these accounts. The whole thing is with the accounts, you want to pass them, but you also want to get hit with that monthly fee, especially since it's 4% off. I don't want to, squander the opportunity, because these accounts can be expensive, I'll be honest. Especially I have 3 of them. That $3 monthly charge was not going to be cool. But here, this trade didn't work out. It came down to that 15-minute zone I had boxed up, caught support, and hit me out, which sucks because I do think the market came up a little bit higher just to come back down anyway. So when it comes to this trade right here, like I said, the market did whip me out of that trade, and I still had conviction for it to go to the downside. So I took this short here in anticipation that it could come down, close by that current low, and keep on pushing down to the older days low that I targeted, and that's what I was looking for. So first step was to get below that current low. Now I do remember closing this trade out manually because the market was not working out in the way I wanted it to. So we did close it out, but I was making sure that I was maintaining the losses so it wasn't so big and catastrophic. But I do remember going on tilt after this trade here, which you're going to see in the next few trades. So yeah, at this point, I just kind of went on tilt. I took a 5th trade right here, and I took this long because I saw the market field close below the current low. So I was like, maybe it's going to go up. So I hopped in trade 5 contracts, and I took a loss here, which you're going to see. And when you lose money that you don't really anticipate on losing on the day, and you see your P&L, it honestly affects you. Well, let me speak for myself. It affects me a lot. So when I saw the loss I was taking when I was supposed to have a significantly smaller loss on the day, it got me a tilt, and I immediately just hopped the gun, got next trade, and I'm over leveraging now. So you see, the last trade was 5 contracts. This trade I hopped in for 10, which was not part of the plan, and the market's going against me. I'm just a little bit happy that I kept myself somewhat composed, my bad. Because I at least closed the trade out. Normally, I would just let the trade run to F it. But I think because I knew how much money was on the line here in terms of risking $200, I did what I did. But then I flipped the trade, and like you see here, I got it for 25 contracts now in the micros, which is absurd. I was targeting up there, and honestly, at this point, I'm not even trading. I'm just focusing on my P&L. So I'm legit gambling here. So yeah, to wrap this session, we've been taking about 7 trades, which is 3 over our daily max. We over leveraged, and we could have made money. Today could have been a good day if we stuck to our rules, stuck to our buys. But you see the executions here, that's not really great. But if you look overall at this screenshots here, the buys was the downside as soon as it got below the previous low. And if you see, it did reach my target that I was looking for it to reach. So today could have been a good day. So this trade right here is July 3rd. No, I lied, July 2nd. And that's what, Wednesday? This trade right here, oh my gosh, I pissed myself off so bad. So the buy swing was to the upside. Once I saw the market field take out that pre-low, I looked at it as, okay, it's probably liquidity sweep. Now, when the market grab liquidity, odds are it's going to go to the other direction to grab the liquidity, opposite direction of which is grabbed. So if we take the sell side liquidity, don't take the buy side liquidity, right? That's what I was looking for here. I was looking for the market to push on up, and I was going to target the close or the current day open, which is relatively the same area, as my first potential target. Now, the thing that sucks about this trade is I got in this trade with proper risk management, proper sizing. In fact, I think I under leveraged on this trade actually. I didn't go with my max size of $200. So not only did I do that, I closed this trade when I didn't need to close this trade out. And what ended up telling me to close trade out was simply the fact that I was fearful of losing money. I saw a profit, didn't want to lose the profit that I saw. So my brain was like, okay, let me at least get break even. Looking at the way I trade and knowing my setup and my strategy, there was no reason at all for me to exit this trade right here, which you're gonna see me do. And the market never broke structure where my take profit, well, it shows you that 1-1, which is not my take profit, but I just have it there. I need the market to close above that area for me to move my stop to break even. Until that were to happen, my stop is supposed to exactly where it is, which is at that current day's low. And yeah, if you see here on top frames, you see everything has to get through. I put the blue boxes down so you could get an idea of what targeted areas I need to see the market close above as it makes its I can't speak English. As it makes its way to the destination, which is that current day open in that big box, that big orangey looking box up there, if you see. But yeah, right now the market is struggling. Casts are saying that wants to go up. So I have a lot of things telling me that this market does want to go up. And I let my emotions get the best of me and get in my way. So I could have made a one and done trade today, but instead I fell victim to my emotions and we didn't. So I'll let you watch how this trade play out, and I'll be back for the next trade. All right, for this trade right here, I went short at the current open, current close area. No, previous day close area. And that's what initially I was going to do before I saw the market get down to that pre-low. Now, the thing about this trade right here is I acknowledged in my very first trade that the market took out liquidity when it didn't close below that previous day's low, which means odds are it's going to go ahead and get to that current day's high and try to target the previous day's high. The market likes to target, if it targets external liquidity, if it gets external liquidity, it will target external liquidity. So that's what I should have been looking at instead of trying to sell off that resistance area that I had at the current close, which was an order block, supply and demand kind of mindset thinking. I guess in that case we supply, but that's why I went short. And that area right there I was targeting was going to be that liquidity center under there. And that's all I was going to try to really target. Now, if it got down lower, I was going to be prepared to target lower areas. But first thing I had to see, it get below that area right down there, which we see there was a support area sitting a little below it that the market had bounced up out of there. So that's what we honestly was going to look for. But once again, we have to be a little bit more objective and be able to rationalize what is going on in the market rather than what we want to see happen in the market. And I know that's a lot of traders issues across the board, and that's my main issue that I'm dealing with, but I have been getting better with it. And I guess the first step of improvement is acknowledging your problems, and yeah, that's one of my issues. So it sucks because today was an up day. Only thing I do is catch that pre-low like I did and not close out, and I've been golden. Yeah, this trade right here was just another re-entry of that second trade idea to that downside. We started getting a little higher up into the area and reject, so we took a short immediately. We started pulling back, and we had our stops above the swing high, which is that green candle right there. And once again, we were still fixated on targeting liquidity sitting right below that yellow box up area I have, which was the support area the market could have bounced out of once it tapped into the liquidity. And yeah, that's the main thing we were targeting here. And we was, like I said last time, we were stuck in the mindset of selling off that area rather than looking for buys. When we saw liquidity got taken out, we see the breaking structure right there. We see higher highs are being created, taking out past highs. There are a lot of indications here for us to know to go long rather than short. And we were being stubborn. You know, that's really what it comes down to when it comes to trading, is if you were adaptable to the market or are you just being wrong and strong. And yeah, so I want this trade play out, and then I'll tell you about the trade 4. All right, so this is the 4th trade right here, and it was a quick trade. Like, we took the short again, being stubborn, not really accepting what the market's doing. It started ranging up right there for a little bit, so we took a short at the top of the range. In anticipation, the market will come on down. Now, that sucks. That blue area, when I started shifting mine to buys, we marked that area out, and we didn't take the buy. So this is the 5th and final trade we took for this day, July 2nd, and yeah, we broke our rules already. For one, we already over leveraged in this trade, and 2, we took 5 trades. Our max is 4, and yeah, So I pretty much got annoyed with the fact of all the sells I took, and that we kept losing or hitting slightly break even. That's kind of what the theme was, and that kind of get me aggravated, especially after seeing my losses. I was like, yeah, this is a dub. Immediately got tilted, and I went long. And like I said, I didn't really make the realization till actually it was later this day when I realized me rushing the process is what messed me up and making me go on tilt the way I was. And after this trade session is when I'm like, okay, I gotta make the changes. So I went long, like you see here. We had our stops there for where we were gonna get out. Now, if I actually listened to it, is another question. But we had the visual representation there, so I knew where I should be getting at the very least. But like I said, we were over leveraging this trade, and my goal at this point was to first get break even, and if I can make money, I can make money. But once again, it's like when you do bad things and you get reward for it, only thing it does is teaches you to keep doing the same thing over and over. I've been at this trading thing for a while now, and I kept gambling, trying to get lucky, trying to have the windfall trades. And I know that this is not sustainable, and that's not the mindset to have. So that's why I'm actually saying right now, this is horrible. Like, no matter how much green you see, if you're doing the wrong thing to get the green, it don't matter. Because the only thing I'm going to do is tell you to do it again when things get rough, and you're going to blow your account doing what I just did in this trade. Now, granted, I was fortunate enough for it to work out, and I'm fortunate enough to know how bad of a trade this is. But yeah, I'm gonna let this trade play out. We did end up catching a profit for the day. I think we were slightly up on the day, not by a substantial amount, maybe like $200-300 maybe. Like I said, take profit and make $1,500. So when I shifted from get back to break even to get a target, my goal immediately went to make that $1,500. Now the market did get to the point where we could have made that amount, and I've been good. Once again, we closed the trade once I was able to make a realization like, you're doing something foolish right now. Close the trade. Now it did take a while because we were seeing green, but you can see I'm trying to make the proper corrections in the trade. Like I put the six stops be break even, so we could limit the risk. So I'm putting the proper measures while I'm doing the wrong things, just so it's not completely catastrophic and will just, completely destroy everything I got going on. But I'm gonna let everything pan out in this trade and just let you see what happened. So yeah, to wrap it all up, you see how the day pretty much went. It got to my target, everything like that. I could have made good money if I just bought the pre-low. No over leveraging would have been needed. No retreating would have been needed. All I have to do is just trust the process, stick to the trade, not be so emotional, and don't be so quick to get targets. In all honesty, this was a beautiful day right here. Now I got everything going super fast because of how long this trade actually took. Other than this trade, almost for an hour. So we had NFP announcement for this past Thursday, due to today being the 4th of July, so market's closed. And we saw the market really reacted, came off the current low and pushed on up. Now those areas I was looking at prior to that area that I thought market gonna pull on down into, but after that announcement, I saw that okay, that's far the market may want to go. It's gonna go up. So I was able to find a good area to enter in off of, and only thing I do was just hold. And because of the mistake I made on Thursday, where I got the trade before I actually needed to on the pre-low, I was making sure I did not repeat that same thing today. So I was like, yo, I'm not exiting this trade unless I have a reason to exit this trade. Now, you did see a few pops that just came up there. I am a presenter, a teacher, a mentor in my trading community. Not that I'm the best trader in the community. There's traders that are doing better than me, of course, but I have been chosen to be one of the people who present my screen and just give my analysis of the charts. And yeah, so that is what the little pops you did see that came up just now. However, this trade is working out excellently, and I'm happy to see that. I was trying to be the most objective and the most unbiased as possible to what I wanted to see happen, right? And just focus on what is happening. And that gold line up there was the all-time high that the market did wick and take out off that announcement there. So I did believe the market did want to retrace, not retrace, but I believe this pullback was just the retracement for it to go back on up there, take up the current high, and keep on going. And since we're at all-time highs, there's no analysis I can do looking to the left other than what's currently being shown to me. So I think that also did have a hand in playing with me maybe being able to accurately and read the market at an objective level, because I had no real bias after this. Like, I saw the market going up there, of course, but like I said, no looking to the left allowed me to be present and focus on nothing but the 1 minute, 3 minute, not the 3 minute really, but the 1 minute, 5 minute time frames for real, and just look back and forth at what was going on within those. Because the hourly was not giving no information. The 4 hour, the daily, the weekly, the monthly, there's nothing up there at this point. So we're really flying blind. And yeah, so I'm gonna let this trade play out and you see how I manage this trade. But like I said, this was a nice, easy day. I will show a trade that I wish I took after the fact. And I will explain why I didn't take it and what went through my head, my thought process, and things like that. So I'll see y'all in a minute. So the great thing about this right here is I didn't take this trade, but after I got that trade, which was my first trade, I saw the area as a potential point to enter in at, and I set up for. I put my risk reward, everything like that. But because I was so happy that I won for the day, I was like, let me just stop, and you see what happened. That area held amazingly. Only thing I had to do was just enter the trade, and my whole thing around this trade was because of the losses and the way I was going to tilt on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I think I became too excited at the fact that I won. I was too nervous and scared to even risk any money. So I realized that you could break your rules and lose money, but you could break your rules and not make the money you're supposed to be making. Because I only took one trade at that point. I didn't over leverage, nothing like that. The opportunity was there and it presented itself for me to take that trade. And yet I didn't pull the trigger, only because I didn't want to lose money. So in a form, I did technically break my rules, but I didn't. Anywho, this is how today was. This could have been an amazing, amazing day. I could have got that 1,500 no issue. Instead, I made a third of that, which is still fine. I made good progress for the day. I'm up on the week. Next week is a new week, and we gotta just attack it and just take the proper precautions needed. So here wraps up the whole day, and you see how the market went. Now, if you would like for me to make more content like this, where it's more longer formed, more thoroughly shown, let me know. I'm not opposed to doing that. This is a longer video, I know that. But if you'd rather me make the content quick, let me know. I think I might do the next one quick, where I just pump out the trades, show the trades, not go thoroughly into it. But if that's something you guys like, I don't mind showing it. Yeah, but your boy's back. We'll see how consistent I can be with this. I do have a few things coming up in the near future where I won't be trading as consistently as I would like. So even when I do record these videos, I may record like, okay, 2 trading days out the 5, maybe 3 out the 5, 4 out the 5, or 1 out the 5. But I also aim to make these videos weekly, so you guys have something here and I have something for myself to view and show my progression as a trader, and people can watch my journey. So the goal is to get a payout and become financially free. You feel me? Peace.